Uninformed immigrants are at a huge disadvantage in court, in financial and legal matters, and also sometimes in life. Well, what can we do about it? I'll tell you what. We can train, teach, inspire, and empower immigrants to maximize their lives regardless of their immigration status. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. I am your immigration lawyer and host, Otis Landerholm, and this is the Empowered Immigrant Podcast. All right, welcome. I'm Otis Landerholm, and you are at the Empowered Immigrant Podcast, and thank you so much for being here with me today. I'm recording this on the 24th of June, and today I want to talk about how to be empowered in the face of uncertainty. All right, and before we get to that, my quote for today comes from Robert Kiyosaki, and the quote is, "Don't let the fear of losing be greater than the excitement of winning." Don't let the fear of losing be greater than the excitement of winning. All right, so here we are. It's coming up on the end of June of 2020. We are still facing a coronavirus pandemic. And for my clients and for immigrants throughout the country, there is a lot of uncertainty right now because not just the virus, but also the Trump administration is releasing more and more regulation changes all the time, it feels like. And there's lots of things that are in the air and being challenged, and we're waiting on court decisions. And any immigrant going through any legal process knows that their case is not certain and knows that there's uncertainty out there. And the truth is that we always face uncertainty in life, all right? If you want certainty, forget about it, right? The only people who have complete certainty are dead. Life is in flux. Life is changing. And we want to be able to deal with that fact. And if we have struggle and challenges dealing with the fact that there is uncertainty around us at all times, then it'll hold us back from achieving the life that we want. And so, I personally am feeling it right now, if you want to know the truth, right? There's changes that are affecting my clients. There's changes that are affecting my office. There's changes that are affecting me, all right? And I know that you are facing uncertainty in your life also, if you're listening to this. We all are in some degree. And, for me, it's like, okay, the future of my office is not going to look like the past of my office. There's changes that I've got to make. And some of those changes are not fun, and some of those changes are not easy. And I know that I've got to take it one day at a time and push through and face the uncertainty. And the truth is that there are times when I have trouble sleeping at night, thinking about what needs to happen and making plans about the future. And it's easy for anxiety to start to creep in. But what do we do to edge that away? And what do we do to take care of ourselves? And what do we do to become empowered in our own lives in the face of uncertainty? And so I'll share some of the things that I do. And really, I've got 5 tips today for what could be done to deal with, and not just deal with like it's this pest, right? It's not just dealing with it, but it's also embracing it. It's also like changing our mind about it. Like uncertainty is not necessarily a bad thing. If everything were certain, everything would be boring, right? We want surprises. We want challenges. We want problems because it makes us be better, all right? So here are my 5 tips today for dealing with uncertainty. You ready for them? Tip number 1, focus our mind, focus our energy, focus our attention on the things that we can control. Okay? Focus on what we can control. Focusing on things that we can't control just leads to worry and anxiety and stress for no reason. We can't control those things, all right? Instead, let's focus our energy and our conversation and our time on the things that we can actually control, all right? I can't control the state of the economy. I can't control, the number of the number of unemployment rates, and the fact that um, laws are changing against our clients at rates that I disagree with. There's lots of things that are out of my control, all right? But what can I control? I can control how I communicate with the people I'm communicating with. I can control who I communicate with every single day, all right? And I can control what I do with my time. And so, okay, let's make a plan, and let's make a plan that's useful, that'll move us forward, and that'll use the time that we have in a way that that will help us to improve our lives in the future. All right, so that's tip number one. It's a huge one. Focus on what we can control. The second tip for today is to take care of our health. All right, we want to be our best so that we can spot opportunities that are coming in the midst of changes around us. We want to be able to feel our best so that we can face the uncertainty that's around us. All right, and so that we can combat against stress and anxiety that can come up into our own minds. So how do we do that? All right. Basically, four things to take care of our health, and you all know them. All right. Thing number one, exercise, right? I get up at 5 a.m. and I go for a jog pretty much every single day, all right? I'm also training for a half Ironman triathlon competition. So, I love pushing myself, and I hope that you push yourself too. Exercise. The second is sleep. When I am preoccupied or worried, I don't sleep as well, all right? And sometimes I find when that happens, I cut out coffee, because coffee also interferes with my sleep. And I up my exercise, because if I up my exercise, then I sleep better. And so sleep becomes very important every night. Get 7, 8, 9 hours, whatever amount of time you need to really feel rested the next day and feel at your best levels of energy. All right. Also related to health, eat healthier. So many people, when they're stressed, they go and eat more. All right. So many people, when they're sheltering in place, they turn and they start eating more and eating less healthy. And it's like, it's the reverse of what people should be doing. All right. I start every one of my days with a green smoothie, kale, spinach, straight from our garden. I typically put one banana in there, and then the vast majority of everything else is vegetables. Green plants. Green plants help to oxidize our lungs, all right, and oxidize our blood so that we can breathe more oxygen into our cells. And it's like, you can talk to any nutritionist out there. You eat more vegetables, it's like healthy for you, all right? So do that. Less carbohydrates, more green plants. Less refined sugars and sweets and stuff like that, and more green plants. It will help change our biochemistry so that we'll be, not just able to face uncertainty and not just able to reduce stress, but also, heck, our immune system will be stronger so that if there's a virus around, we'll be, more able to fight against infections. How about that? The fourth thing about taking care of our health is set time aside to breathe, to relax. You might take up meditation. You might take up yoga, something like that. The power of being able to relax our mind, all right? It helps our health. And those are the four health tips, all right? So thing number one, focus on what you can control. Thing number two, focus and take care of our health. My third tip for today on how to be empowered in the face of uncertainty is actually to let go. Stop trying to control everything, all right? So many people go through life, holding on to, holding on to a relationship that maybe isn't serving you, or holding on to a job that, isn't the job you want anyway. All right. Or keeping, your car when it's like, gosh, this car doesn't even work anymore. Or, people hang on to stuff, both emotionally in their minds and physically in their physical space, way too long sometimes. And so I want to encourage you to see where you're trying to control things and where you're clinging on to the past, or where you're clinging on to something that's been your support system in the past, and let go of it. All right. And part of that is focusing on what you can control too. You can control letting go. All right. And letting go brings a freedom. And it allows us to really go with the flow and allow us to be in the uncertainty, and to allow it to take us to a new place in life. All right. So let go. Stop trying to control everything. My fourth tip is a big one. Contribute to someone else. All right. One way to stop worrying about our own situation is to help someone else through theirs. Because no matter what in life, there's always somebody worse off than we are. Always. All right. I don't care if you recently went blind and recently lost control of every one of your limbs. All right. There's somebody out there that's like going through that exact same situation and also burning to death or something. Right. I mean, there's crazy amount of suffering in the world. All right. There is a crazy amount of suffering in the world. All right. And so let's find someone who's in a worse situation than we are, and let's contribute to them. Let's get out of our own head and stop feeling sorry for ourselves. And instead, let's contribute to other people. In doing that, we can raise our own conscious awareness, and we can get out of our own head and get into action, doing something that actually benefits the world. And doesn't the world need more of that right now? All right. Contributing to another person is one of the highest callings that we can have as human beings on planet Earth. And I really encourage each of us to find a way to contribute to another human being a little bit every single day. Call someone who's an old friend who you haven't spoken with in years, and just, contribute to them. Find someone who is, who could benefit from kindness, and look them in the eye and ask them how they're doing. Contribute to someone else. My last tip number 5, is don't fear uncertainty. Instead, find a way to embrace it. Find a way even to create it. All right? This life, we've only got one shot at it so far as we know, so we might as well create and go for the life that we want to create for ourselves. And doing that requires change. And doing that requires being uncomfortable and pushing ourselves to grow beyond our current limits. All right? And it requires causing uncertainty in our minds. All right? And it requires causing uncertainty, period. Because anytime we take on a goal that's something we've never accomplished before, we are creating uncertainty and a new path for our future that we've never been down before. And so, heck, it's not something to be avoided. It's something to take on. It's a new challenge. It's a new goal. It's a new thing that's going to drive our lives forward. Embrace it, create it. All right? And that brings me back to my quote of the day, Robert Kiyosaki. Don't let the fear of losing be greater than the excitement of winning. The big key to being empowered in the face of uncertainty is, no matter what, find something that you can be excited about. Don't let fear hold you back. Find something that can bring you, that can propel you through the uncertainty. That's something that excites you. That's something that can be passionate about. That's something that actually matters to you. And go for it, all right? Go for it. Go for your life. And whether that's taking on an immigration case, or whether that's, going for that new relationship that's going to be the love of your life. Find that person and go for it. Or whether that's, starting a new career or a new endeavor that's going to really challenge you to become the person you were put on this earth to become. Go for it. Thank you so much for listening. I'm Otis Landerholm. This is the Empowered Immigrant Podcast. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to the Empowered Immigrant Podcast. If you like what you heard and if you want to learn more, please go to landerholmimmigration.com/podcast.